Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the Bold and Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Amanda, and I think that the title I chose this week is very fitting. Very fitting. A Senseless Tragedy, because that's exactly what this was. A tragedy, a travesty, whatever you want to call it. It was not good this week. I feel like I need to warn you guys that anyone out there, if you do not already know what happened in the past couple of weeks, I'm about to really upset you, and I apologize in advance for that. All I can say is that I will try my best to contain my rage and bias, but I cannot promise anything. Okay, guys, let's move on. I do not have any news this week. I didn't see anything that was anything new that we don't already know. So enough with the chit chat. Let's get to the recap. Believe it or not, I was quite shocked that they actually had an episode on Christmas Eve and Christmas. I thought it would probably be encore or reruns, but no, they absolutely had episodes on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So that brings us into Monday, December the 24th. Christmas Eve. Steffi, Hope, and Liam, they're all at Steffi's house. They're still having their discussion about Taylor not being at Eric's Christmas bash. Hope doesn't want her there. Steffi does. They basically agree to disagree because neither one is budging. Then we head over to Il Giardino. Taylor and Reece are finishing their lunch date. So if you remember back, they were having lunch. And they also continue their conversation about Steffi adopting a baby. The clues are in here, guys. Reece mentions how expensive adoption is. And basically Taylor says money is not a problem. She would pay whatever she had to make Steffi happy. This makes Reece smile from ear to ear, which is concerning. At the end of their lunch, Reece insists on paying the bill, and then they kiss goodbye. Then, you're gonna love this, Reece tries to skip out on the bill, but the waitress catches him, and he tries to play it off, and so he gives her his card. A few minutes later, she comes back, and his card was declined. So he he gives an excuse, and then he pays in cash, and it takes all the cash that he had in his wallet. And as he was leaving, he saw a guy he recognized, and he freaked out and ducked out the back door of the restaurant. It was weird. Now we head over to Steffi's house with Taylor and Steffi. Taylor's made it home, and she tells Steffi about Reece. And that she really likes him, and Steffi approves. She's happy for her mother, but she does give her some advice. She wants Taylor to take it slow because she is vulnerable, and I think we can all agree on that. Taylor tells Steffi about her and Reece's kiss, and Steffi also informed Taylor about Hope's demands that Taylor cannot go to Eric's Christmas bash. And Steffi says she's not going to go either. But Taylor insists that Steffi has to go to Eric's because she has to be with Kelly and Liam on Christmas. And that she just won't go. It's not a big deal to her. She shouldn't have did what she did, basically, is what she says. So it seems Steffi is okay with her mom dating Reece. Now we head over to the cabin with Hope, Liam, and Maya. Maya has stopped by to inform them about the divorce. They are both shocked, as is everyone, but they assure her that she's still family, and they offer to help with Lizzie if she needs them. Liam and Hope ask Maya if it would be okay if they also use the name Elizabeth, but they would call their daughter Beth, because they want to honor the Logan women, and especially Hope's grandmother. They will call her Beth Spencer. And Maya loves the idea, and she's totally on board. She thinks it's a great idea. So Maya leaves, and Hope and Liam are waiting for Rick to call so they can talk to him about the divorce and about the baby name. Hope and Liam just want to be sure that it's okay with Rick also. Then Hope starts talking to Liam, and she wants to make sure that Liam knows that she is not trying to ruin his Christmas with Kelly. And he assures her that he knows that she is not purposely trying to be mean and ruin Christmas or anything like that. He gets it. And then the episode ends with Liam and Steffi both looking out their windows at the moon outside. And I'm assuming this is supposed to make us think that they're thinking about each other. And that's how Monday ends. I'm going to be honest, this really ticks me off. Because if Liam was with Steffi, then he would be looking longingly at the moon thinking about Hope. Enough already. Pick one and be done, because I am so over this. Over it. Now that brings us to Christmas Day, Tuesday, December the 25th. The show opens at Eric's house with Quinn and Eric, and they're getting ready for their Christmas bash. The guests start arriving. Kelly and Steffi, Brooke and Ridge, Liam and Hope, Maya, Vivian and Julius, Zoe and Xander, Katie and Thorne, and Donna, Wyatt and Sally, and then Bridget makes a surprise visit, which makes everyone happy, including me. Everyone is being nice and getting along, and I'm not sure how long this will last, but so far, Taylor is not there. So, a few minutes later, all the Logan women, Brooke, Katie, Donna, Bridget, they all go into the kitchen to help Pam. Oh, Hope too. They all go into the kitchen to help Pam. Pam is having a meltdown because Charlie forgot to turn the oven on. But Donna, of all people, explains that if they use the convection setting, it will cook faster and everything will be fine. They'll just eat 15 or 20 minutes later than scheduled. And if you thought Pam loved Donna before, well, she basically is going around telling everyone that Donna saved Christmas. She's completely head over heels in love with Donna now. So a little while later, we head back into the living room, and everyone is happy and having fun together, and it's a nice change of pace, to be honest. The soap opera's been very dark lately. Then Hope and Liam announce to everyone that they have finally chosen a name for the baby, Beth, and everyone, especially the Logan women, are all so happy. And then Ridge wants everyone to share what their blessings are. So everyone shares why they are blessed, and it was a really sweet moment. I am not going to go through every single person's blessing. It's not necessary. So it was a nice change of pace, to be honest. They looked at old photos, and they enjoyed each other's company, and then, as always, they all gathered around the piano while Eric played, and they all sang, and that's how Tuesday ends. So that brings us into Wednesday, December the 26th, day after Christmas. Normally, I go in the exact order that the show goes, but I'm going to mix it up a little bit because the ending connects to the beginning. So we're going to start at Steffi's house with Ridge and Steffi. Ridge brought Taylor a gift, but she isn't there. She's out. And while he's there, Steffi tells Ridge that she is going to adopt a sister for Kelly. And he is shocked. Steffi explains that she really misses Phoebe and that she really wants Kelly to have a close sister. You can tell Ridge is concerned, but I think he also understands too. And he seems a little speechless. He really doesn't say much. I think he's kind of shocked. Now we head over to El Giardino, where Zoe is taking her dad Reece out to lunch. And Zoe wants her dad to be real with her. She doesn't believe that he's there just for her at all. And she asked him if he needs money or if he is in trouble again. And then Reece promises that his bad days are behind him and he has changed. And frankly, I don't believe that. I don't believe him at all, and neither does Zoe. So after a few minutes, Zoe leaves, and a few minutes later, Reece gets up to leave, and as he's leaving, that mysterious guy that he saw yesterday is waiting for him outside the restaurant. He wants to have a little chat, and he grabs Reece by the arm, and then we learn that this guy is from Vegas, and that Reece owes his boss $200,000. And he came to inform Reece that his time is up. His boss is tired of waiting. I knew this guy was trouble, but I just didn't realize this much trouble. Now we head to Forrester Creations downstairs in the showroom with Xander and Emma. And Xander tells Emma that he spent Christmas with Zoe. But Emma wants to be friends with Xander, and she doesn't want it to be all weird between them every time Zoe's name comes up. And Xander tells Emma that Zoe's dad is in town, and Zoe doesn't trust him, and that he is definitely a strange person. And then they talk for a little bit, and Emma leaves. A few minutes later, Zoe comes in, and she informs Xander that her lunch went well, but that she does not buy her dad's reasons for being in town. One bit. Now we head over to the cabin with Hope and Liam. And this is where the show actually opened, but it also closed here. So I just put them together because it made it easier for myself and for you guys too. So Hope has a big surprise for Liam. She wants to take him on a baby moon to Catalina Island, which is basically a honeymoon before you have your baby, so you could spend time with your husband before your whole life changes. And Liam, of course, is worried, but Hope assures him that she already cleared the trip with her doctor, and the doctor said it was fine. So Hope and Liam are super excited for their trip. And I think these two, I personally think that these two have good chemistry. I think they're funny together and sweet. So Liam tells Hope that he thinks he was born to love her. And she tells him that she's always thought she was born to love him and to have his baby. And they're super sweet and so happy. And I love it, but I'm sure it won't last. And that's how Wednesday ends. So that brings us into Thursday, December the 27th. The show opens at the cabin with Hope and Liam. And they're super excited about their baby moon. And we also learn that Hope's due date is only a few weeks from now. Now we head over to Steffi's house, where we learn that Kelly has a fever, which Steffi always blows out of proportion. But I think when it's your first child, you always do that. I don't have children yet, but that's what I feel like would happen. I feel like when you're a new mother, you're very cautious of everything. So of course, Steffi calls Liam because she's taking Kelly to the doctor. So Liam talks to Hope, and Hope urges him to go and then meet her at the airport. So Liam rushes off to meet Steffi at the doctor's office. Over at Forrester Creations, downstairs in the showroom, Zoe is talking to Xander, and she admits to him that she is really worried about why her dad is here, because he has a serious gambling problem. Zoe goes on to explain that her father, Reece, uses women for their money, and that he is always secretive about his life. And Xander is a little taken aback by the things that Zoe is saying about her father. And then he gives her a hug and he tells her it's going to be fine. And then Xander tells her that he loves her and he really wants to be with her. And Zoe says this makes her so happy because she loves him too, and that's all she wanted was to be back with him. So they're all happy and kissing. So they are officially back together. Now we head over to El Giardino with Reece and the Vegas guy. We learn that Reece has a shift at the clinic on Catalina Island, and I don't like the way any of this is going. Okay? I don't like that he's gonna be there. I already don't like it. So Reece, of course, talks his way out of this sticky situation. But the guy warns him that if he doesn't get the money in the next couple of days, that he is going to have a little chat with his daughter Zoe. Now we head over to the airport, and Hope has just arrived without Liam. And she runs into a very interesting couple, Matt and Kieran. They are huge fans of Hope and Hope for the Future. And they asked if they could take pictures with her. And they start asking her all these questions. And poor Hope, she finally gets away from them for a second and she calls Liam. So she finds out that Liam is still waiting at the hospital for the doctor. So Hope suggests that she go ahead and take the first flight, and she switch Liam to the second later flight, and then they can meet at the hotel. And then at the hospital, Steffi does tell Liam that he should go, but he insists that he needs to make sure Kelly is alright first. And so that's how Thursday ends. So that brings us then to Friday, December the 28th. The show opens at the airport, and Hope is being bombarded with questions from Matt and Kieran, the very interesting couple. And they are taking selfies with her and asking her personal questions, all about her and Liam. But Hope is being very nice, of course, as always. And then poor Hope is forced to board the helicopter and take off without Liam. Now we head over to the hospital with Liam and Steffi and Kelly. The doctor comes in to check on Kelly, and it's Dr. Andrews, who is played by Christopher Knight, which is pretty cool because he's actually played that character before in the past. So the doctor takes Kelly and he examines her. And it doesn't take that long. And he comes back and he explains that Kelly has a little upper respiratory virus. It's no big deal. She needs to take some antibiotics, go home, rest, and she'll be fine in a couple days. So this makes Liam feel much, much better, and he takes off for the airport. Now we head over to Forrester Creations in the executive office with Ridge and Brooke. And Ridge is telling Brooke his New Year's resolutions. He says he has a list, and that Brooke is the number one on his list, and she will always be number one. And then they start kissing, and Brooke and Ridge are really cute together. I think they make a good couple. I think they have good chemistry. So this was a cute scene, and I'm glad that they were happy because they're about to not be. Now we head over to the island, Catalina. Hope, poor Hope, she has made it to the resort, and then she gets a call, and she learns that Liam's flight could possibly be delayed due to the winds and bad weather. This is just not turning out to be a good baby moon. Now we head back over to the airport, and Liam has finally made it there, and he runs into none other than the couple, Matt and Kieran. He chats with them for a few minutes, and then he learns that his flight has definitely been delayed. And this freaks him out a little bit. And a few minutes later, The captain comes in and informs them that his flight has been grounded until further notice because the weather is just too bad. The wind is really heavy. Liam calls Hope to give her the bad news. And while they are talking, Hope's water breaks and she starts having a contraction. So she's freaking out. She's hurting. She's scared. She's crying. And poor Liam is literally losing his mind. And that's how Friday ends. Okay, guys. So, December the 31st, Monday, was an encore presentation. In other words, it was a rerun. They did not have an episode on Monday. They also did not have an episode on Tuesday, January the 1st, New Year's Day. It was also a rerun. So that brings us into January the 2nd, Wednesday. The show opens at the airport and Liam is still on the phone with Hope and he is trying to calm her down. He is telling her everything will be fine. He will get there somehow. Poor Liam is desperately trying to figure out how to get to Hope and Beth. And meanwhile, Matt and Kieran are eating snacks and watching poor Liam like he's a TV show. Now we head over to Spencer Publications in Bill's office with Wyatt and Bill. And Bill is telling Wyatt that he's determined to be a good father to him, Liam, and Will. And so they're just chit-chatting and Liam calls Bill. Bill answers and he tells him everything. And he asked if he could use Bill's helicopter. And Bill says, of course, I'm on it right now. I will get you there no matter what. So they hang up and Bill calls the pilot. He takes care of it and then he gives Liam a call back. And he tells Liam that everything is set up and he will be in Catalina soon. So now we head back out to the island. Poor Hope, she's leaving the hotel and a nice hotel worker, I don't know, I guess the hotel manager, is helping her get to the clinic. So she's riding with her in the car, trying to get her to the clinic to see the doctor. Hope arrives at the clinic and Dr. Buckingham is the only one there. Great. She's alone with him. Great. I do not like where this is going. And the more that I'm watching it, the madder I'm getting. So, Dr. Buckingham explains to Hope that his nurse is on the other side of the island, but the storm has caused the road to become impassable. And this really upsets Hope. And she's kind of panicking. And he explains that it's going to be okay. He's a OBGYN. He knows what he's doing. So he leaves the room and Hope calls Liam. But because of the weather, her service is out at the moment and her call doesn't go through. And then she tries to text and her text doesn't go through and now she's getting upset. I really feel sorry for her. Outside of Hope's door, at the entrance of the clinic, we're with Reece and a young lady. And this young lady appears very upset, very distraught. She seems almost zombie-like. And then we see Reece tell her, you have to know that it wasn't your fault. You have to know that none of this is your fault. And then she just looks at him, turns and leaves the clinic and doesn't say a word. It was strange. It was really weird. So then Reece goes back in to check on Hope and she is really scared and upset that Liam probably won't make it in time. And then, of course, like Hope isn't scared enough, the electricity goes out. And Reece assures her that they have a generator and that he's going to go check and he'll be right back. So Reece leaves the room and he gets on his cell phone and he calls someone, we don't know who, and he tells them, look, I'm up here. I got a patient that's going into labor. I need help. I need someone at the clinic now. Then we go back in the room with Hope and Liam calls her and she answers and they start talking and he is trying to assure her that he will be there. He tells her that his dad's going to help him out and he's going to use the Spencer chopper and that he will be there. And I feel so sorry for Hope and Liam. They do not deserve this at all. And that's how Wednesday ends. So that brings us into Thursday, January the 3rd. The show opens at the clinic with Hope and Reece. And Hope is in so much pain. I feel so bad for her. And there is no one there who can give her an epidural. So Reece is really being supportive and trying to help Hope. And at least that's how it appears. Now we head over to Bill's office and he gives Brooke a call and tells her what's happening with Hope and Liam. And of course, Brooke is super upset and she wants to get to Catalina Island as soon as possible. Now we head over to Forrester Creations in the executive office with Brooke and Ridge, and Brooke has just hung up with Bill and she's freaking out like any mother would. She tells Ridge that she has a bad feeling about this and that the situation is screaming disaster. Mother's intuition, I think. So Ridge is trying to calm her down and Brooke is just so worried. So a few minutes later, Bill stops by the office to give Brooke and Ridge an update. And he assures them that he is going to get Liam there no matter what. And Ridge and Bill are both trying desperately to calm Brooke down. For once, Bill and Ridge are on the same side. It was oddly fun to watch. Brooke keeps calling and texting, and she finally gets through to Hope. And she gives Hope a really sweet mom pep talk, and she tells her that she is the strongest person that she knows. And Brooke promises that her and Ridge will be there as soon as possible. And everyone, especially Brooke, is really upset at this whole situation. Now we head over to the airport with Liam, Matt, and Kieran. And Matt and Kieran feel so bad for Liam, and they are really rooting for him and Hope. And poor Liam is losing his mind, and he's very impatiently waiting for the Spencer chopper to arrive. So a few minutes of very nervous pacing, and the pilot finally shows up. And he tells Liam that they have a very tiny window of time that they can leave before the wind gets just completely impossible. So Liam says, well, let's go. I have to get to my wife. So they take off in the wind to get to Hope. And the pilot tells Liam, this is going to be a really rough ride, so get ready. Back at the clinic, Reece gets a text from the Vegas guy. And it's a picture of Zoe at work. And it says, the caption says, beautiful girl, is her life worth $200,000? Question mark. So Reece quickly calls Zoe to check on her. And of course, she's fine. She is with Xander. And then Reece tells her about Hope and what's going on and that he loves her very much, and they hang up. Reece immediately calls the Vegas guy. And he assures him that he will have the money for him in just a couple days to please stay away from his daughter Zoe, and that he better leave her alone. Then he hangs up and he goes in to check on Hope, and the baby is coming. Poor Hope is pushing her little heart out, and then she's pushing and she's so tired, she's in so much pain, and all of a sudden, her pulse starts to slow down, and she completely passes out, she completely blacks out, and that's how Thursday ends. I am going to be honest with you guys, as I'm watching this, I'm getting madder and madder, more upset and more upset. I don't like where any of this is going. So that brings us into Friday, January the 4th. The show opens at Forrester Creations in the executive office with Bill, Brooke, and Ridge. Bill and Ridge are making calls. They're calling everyone. They're trying to see if there's any way that they can get to the island, but they're not having any luck yet. And Brooke tells them that she doesn't care how they get there, but she will get to her daughter. And I do feel sorry for her. They're all super worried about Hope and Liam, and they just hope that he makes it in time. Now we head over to the clinic, and we're with Hope in her room, and she is just starting to wake up and come to. She thinks she sees the doctor, but she opens her eyes all the way and he's gone. Just a couple minutes later, Liam comes into the room. He finally made it, and Hope is so happy to see him. He explains that he got there right after she gave birth, and she wants to know if he saw Beth. And Liam says yes. And she looks like an angel, a little angel. So they talk for a little bit, and they agree on a middle name, Avalon, for the city that she was born in. And Hope says, okay, I'm ready to meet Elizabeth Avalon Spencer. So Liam's stalling, and he tells Hope that he's so proud of her, and she's the strongest person he knows, and that she's so amazing, and that no matter what, they're in this together, and they can handle anything as long as they're together. And Liam starts tearing up, and it's obvious that he's trying to tell her something. So she is looking at him, and she says, what is wrong? You need to tell me because you're freaking me out, and I'm scared. You're scaring me. He finally tells her that Beth didn't make it. And poor Hope completely freaks out. She wants to see her baby. She tries to rip her IV out. She's totally hysterical. So Liam calms her down, and he says, I want you to be prepared for what you're about to see, because I wasn't. So Dr. Reece brings Beth in, and he gives her to Hope. And she looks at her, and she hugs her, and she completely breaks down. She is sobbing. The actress, Annika, did such an amazing job. While I'm watching this, I am in tears. I am crying. Like, I'm tearing up right now just thinking about it. So she's having a complete breakdown. She's sobbing. And Liam is holding her. And then Reece explains that it was a placenta abruption, and there was nothing that he could do. It was the saddest and most difficult thing to watch. It was so hard for me to watch this. And that's how Friday ends. I was speechless. Why would they do this to Hope? I just don't understand. I don't understand what they're thinking. She's already lost one baby. This is totally unnecessary, and I'm livid. Again, I apologize for making you upset and sad, or even mad. Let's get to the breakdown. Dr. Reece Buckingham has a serious gambling problem. He owes some guy in Vegas $200,000, and now his daughter is being threatened. He is obviously not a great person, and this is all coming from his own daughter. And by the way, I am 99% positive that he stole Hope and Liam's baby, Beth. I don't know how. It infuriates me. The storyline infuriates me because I don't understand how. He's the only one there, so that works in his favor. But at the same time, you have a newborn baby. Where on earth could he have a newborn baby hidden where you wouldn't hear it screaming and crying for its mother? I don't like it. Okay? Moving on. Little Beth is gone, and poor Hope and Liam are devastated. I know that she is not really gone. At least I am hoping, with all the hope that I have, that she's not really dead. I am terrified, but I think they're going to give Hope's baby to Steffi, which makes me speechless. I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I literally cannot. Because, first of all, why would Steffi adopt a baby through any manner besides the proper channels? The proper channels, the proper adoption agency, lawyers, whatever. And who in their right mind just straight out pays for a baby? You pay for the adoption, you pay for lawyer fees, you pay for things, but of course, adoption is not free. But I hate this storyline. I'm sorry. So, obviously, Steffi still plans on adopting. Why would they crush two mothers like this? I don't understand. Steffi's gonna get attached to the baby, and then somehow we're gonna find out that it's Hope's, and then she's gonna have to give the baby back eventually, which is gonna break both of their hearts. And another thing, I think Steffi could hold on a minute, okay, and give Liam and Hope some time to grieve before she just brings another baby into the mix. One more thing. If this tragedy breaks up Hope and Liam, I will be devastated and I will lose my mind. I do try to keep my bias out, but I have to say that I am a Hope and Liam fan. I think they make a good couple. I think they just fit. I've been watching since they were teenagers, and they've always been in love with each other. Don't get me wrong. I'm also a fan of Steffi. I just don't feel Steffi and Liam are a good match. I will be devastated if this breaks them up. I really will, because for once, can they just be happy for a little while? I mean, it's one thing. It's always this. Like, come on. So, even though Liam gets on my nerves with his flip-flopping, he doesn't deserve this. Hope does not deserve this. Steffi does not deserve this. Brooke does not deserve this. And you know what? Us, the fans, we don't deserve this either. No one does. And I am unhappy about it. So that brings us to the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was very dark. I would absolutely love to hear what you guys think about everything that's going on. Am I crazy? Am I the only one? Or is everyone else really unhappy right now with the situation? Please get in touch with me with your comments, your predictions, your feedback. You can get in touch with me at theboldandbeautifulpodcast.com. If you enjoy the show, please give me a 5-star rating on whatever directory that you get your podcast from. It greatly helps the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will be back in your ears next week. Until then, bye guys.